So this is period 3. And today's date is 8/10/21. Like I said earlier, the notes are going to be very brief today because you guys have a lot of experience already with number lines. It's really more of a review. But our learning target is I can model integer addition using a number line. You guys probably don't even need the number line, but it is the 7th grade standard that you know how to model this on a number line, so that's what we're going to do today. Okay. Any questions so far? Okay, so every day you're going to make sure all this information is on your page. It's important because if your notes get mixed up, you can read the learning target to know what those notes are about. And the date is also really helpful because if you, like I said, if all your stuff falls out of your binder, you can just organize it by date and you'll know which order they go in, okay? All right, so before we get started on our current stuff, let's just take a quick review moment. Okay. Okay, can anyone tell me what those symbols right here are, the vertical ones? Chris? Absolute value. And what is absolute value? Hudson?
It's the value of the integer inside of the.
Okay. Well, anyone else want to elaborate on that? Kara?
Well, to put it in simpler words, it's how far away it is from the zero and another one.
Yeah, good. Okay. Anyone else want to add to that, or are you good? Ooh, I'm sorry. Go ahead and tell me your name. Irvin. I remembered right at the last second. Okay, go ahead.
The distance of the number from zero.
Fabulous. Yeah, definitely. So in this case, -10 is 10 spaces away from the 0. So we can say the absolute value of -10 is +10. Okay. And let's take a look at this one too. Okay. Now, a negative can also be considered the opposite. So when you have this negative on the outside, like this, we can read it the opposite of the absolute value of -10. Well, let's ignore this for a minute. We already know that this portion is +10 because we just figured that out. So with the negative, what is that one?
-10. Negative.
Raise your hand if you think it's -10. Sweet. You guys are on track already. Great. So the value of this is going to be -10. So let's quickly write the definition for absolute value down so we have it in our notes. And a lot of people gave us some good definitions. I think I'm going to use this one. The absolute value is the distance from 0. And the other thing that you always want to remember about absolute value is it is positive, always. Distance is always positive. Okay. All right, coming back to you a little bit? Yeah, awesome. Okay, so let's talk about adding integers now. And like I said, we're going to be modeling that today on a number line. case you're wondering, today is the first lesson, so I am recording this, and I will be posting this in Otis. So if you have access to a computer at home and you want to rewatch it, feel free. I don't think you're going to need to today, but there might be times when you just don't fully understand the lesson, and you can just pull it up at home and watch it again. Okay. All right. So let's take a look at an example. So we have -3 plus +5. So I'm going to get myself a little number line all set up here. I'm just going to put the 0 in the middle and add a few on either side. How many of you already know the answer to this without doing anything? All right, see? Right where I need you to be. Okay, awesome. But now let's model it on a number line. I'll give you another minute to get that number line set up. If I'm ever writing too fast, tell me to slow down, please. Another thing that I do all the time is I forget to move it up. So I'm writing and you can't see. So if I'm doing that, you got to say something because I won't notice. Okay. So when you're modeling this on a number line, we always start at the first number. So the value that we're starting with is -3. So I start at -3, and I'm adding a +5. So because 5 is positive, I am going to go in the positive direction 5 spaces. So I draw an arrow 5 spaces to the right in the positive direction. And where you land is the solution. Okay? So the value of this expression is +2. Okay? Okay. Let's go ahead and take a look at another example. Now, if you're doing this in your head, you can see that the answer is probably going to be a larger negative number, or technically a smaller negative number. So I want to make sure I have plenty of room for my negatives here. So I'm actually going to start with my 0 on this side. Okay, so just so you know about the bells, you're going to hear 2 bells in the middle of class. The first one is to tell the 6th graders to go back to class. The second one is to tell the 6th graders that class has started. So you'll hear 2 bells. When you get to the 3rd bell, that's actually for you to go to lunch, okay? So just so you know what to expect, and I think they have finally gotten the bells dialed in, so they shouldn't be ringing at the wrong times anymore, or not ringing when they're supposed to ring, so. All right. So just like our first one, we'll start at that first number, -2. And this time we're adding a -7. Since that number is negative, we are going to go in the negative direction 7 spaces. So I'm going to shoot it on down here. Okay, and when I go -7 spaces, I land at -9. All right, quick thumb pull. If you're like, I got this, thumbs up. Thumbs to the side if you need a little more practice. Thumbs down if you're like, you lost me, ladies. Okay, good, good. Did you do this in 6th grade?
Yeah.
Sweet. Okay. Now, I do have some practice problems, but you guys seem really confident, and we are running short on time today. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to have you file your notes, and I'm going to pass out your homework. So let me show you real quick what your homework looks like. It's actually tonight's homework and tomorrow night's homework. But tonight's homework is the front and back of the first page. You're going to notice that there are some word problems there, and we did not get an opportunity to do word problems in class. So if you're confused about the word problems, do not fear. We can go over them at the beginning of class if necessary. Yeah, Trent. Really? I don't know, maybe. All right, so I'm going to pass out your homework, and let me put the table of contents back up too so you can see what order to put everything in. Okay, so first you're going to have your assignment sheet, then the notes that you just took, and then you're going to put the homework that I am currently passing out.
Put our whiteboards in there.
Yeah, you put your whiteboards in there somewhere too. You have in your binders.
This is probably
Yeah, so this is basic stuff that we already learned. I think it was pretty easy for everyone else too.
And you can leave all of those pages in the middle of your homework. It's MESP and your worksheet. You can just leave those in the middle of the table, and I'll collect them after you guys.
Yeah. If it was just the questions, it would just be so easy. But we have to write, we have to make the number.
like Khan Academy where you just type in the answer.
Yeah, like I wish.
I'm going to come around and collect them.
Should we put the who I am ones back in?
No, I'll take them.
I took it up to finish it. I forgot to put it back in the bucket.
No problem. You don't even know how many times I hear you say, I left my homework sitting in my drawer. Always.
But in reality, they just didn't do it.
That's probably more likely, but yeah. I always try to think of us though.
Also, if you roll a Jolly Rancher or whatever, it makes it stick to your hand really well. It's the static. Conducts static really well. So it's just no.
My grandpa.
You can use this part, but it's a little bit sticky.
See, that's the annoying thing. Oh, my hand's fault.
Did you just keep the whiteboard?
Yes, I will.
Okay. Mine.
Don't mind if I do. Don't mind if